You might be surprised to know that I've never learned English in any institute. I never paid a single penny for my English speaking, and I didn't even learn English by using copybook methods. But as you can see, I can speak English properly. I'm not very fluent yet, but I can articulate my thoughts in English very well. So, how did I learn English easily while staying at home and living in a village? So, in today's video, I'll be sharing my English learning tips and ideas that can save you money and also time. Let's start it. So, throughout my English learning journey, one thing I kept doing was thinking in English. That one habit helped me to learn English in a short period of time and also saved me from putting in too much unnecessary effort into language learning. But most people think English learning at home is difficult. They imagine expensive courses, strict schedules, heavy grammar books, and perfect discipline. And because of that belief, many people don't even start. But the truth is, English learning at home is not hard. What seems hard is learning English the wrong way. Let's understand this by an example. If you're watching this video, it means you already have access to English. You have a phone, you have the internet, you hear English every single day. Songs, reels, movies, comments, and captions. There are a lot of stuff in English. So the problem is not availability. It's so the problem is not availability. The problem is how you use English at home. So when people say I'm learning English at home but I'm not improving, what they really mean is I'm consuming English but not connecting to it. Time to break. I can. So learning English at home is not about sitting for hours. It's about bringing English into your daily life. Just think about how you learned your first language. No grammar rules, no textbook, textbook, and no views. You listened, you copied, you repeated, you made mistakes, and slowly you became fluent. And English also works the same way. At home, the first habit you need to build is listening without pressure. So, what most listeners do, they listen English with tension. What does that mean? It means they try to understand every single word. They pause video again and again, they translate in heads, and this makes English feel very heavy. So instead, start listening the way you listen to music. You don't understand every lyric, but you still enjoy the song. Just choose one type of English and stay with it. One accent, one style, and one kind of content. Because when your brain hears familiar sound daily, it stops panicking. And when panic disappears, understanding improves naturally. And now let's talk about speaking. It's the most crucial part in English learning. And because this is where most people feel blocked. Because if you practice listening, writing, reading, and but not speaking, it's not going to work. And people who learn English at home, they say, I have no one to speak English with or practice with. But in the truth, you don't need another person to start speaking. You need your own voice. You need yourself. So how you can practice your English without involving other person? Just speak to yourself. Describe what you are doing. Talk about your day. Explain your thoughts out loud. At first, it will feel strange, but fluency always begins with discomfort, and slowly you will get used to it. And don't just talk to yourself and think in English just because of your English practice. Do it naturally, make it a habit. Because when you make, because when you do it for practice, you feel kind of pressure. You do it very unnaturally. This is the point where you start struggling. And another thing is don't wait for perfect sentence. Perfect sentence come after imperfect ones. Always remember that. When you speak at home, you train your brain to think in English. not translate into it. This is the biggest difference between slow learners and fluent speakers. And always remember one thing: silence does not improve English or any other language that you're learning. Usage does. And now let's talk about grammar, but not the way you expect. So you don't need to study grammar all day for your English speaking, but you also shouldn't ignore it completely. That's the truth. Many people say that you don't need grammar to speak English, but that's not the truth. So ignoring grammar completely is wrong in English because grammar is kind of whole system of English. So you cannot ignore it. And at home, grammar should be like support system, not a prison. So instead of memorizing rules, notice patterns. Notice how sentences are formed in the real conversation. Notice how people express opinions, disagreements, and emotions. So grammar learned through context stays longer than grammar learned through fear. And reading helps a lot here, but only if you read the right way. So don't read to learn English. Read because you want to understand something. You are interested in something. Like you can read sort of articles, stories, comments, even captions. And when you read naturally, your brain observes sentence structure without effort. Someone is cooking at this hour. And here's something important: read the same type of content again and again. And repetition is not boring. Repetition is how fluency is built. And now let's talk about vocabulary, the soul of language. And because this is where most people make big mistakes. Most people collect words like trophies: big words, rare words, difficult words. But fluent speakers don't use complicated words all the time. They use strong, clear, practical words. Instead of learning 10 new words every day, take one and use it in different sentences. Say it, write it, hear it, and feel it. And a word becomes yours when you use it without thinking. And finally, let's talk about the mindset, because this decides everything. Learning English at home requires patience, little dedication, and a lot of strategy and involvement. Not motivation, not pressure, not comparison. Like as an English learner, some days I feel confident, some days I feel stupid, some days I feel like it's just hard. I cannot make it. And some days I feel like I understand everything in English, but and another day I feel like I understand nothing. And you can also feel the same way. But that doesn't mean that you're failing. It means you're learning. So what's most important, don't measure your English every day because that can demotivate you. And language growth is invincible until one day you suddenly realize you understand a joke. You spoke without hesitation. You don't translate in your head. And you had a dream in English. And that moment doesn't comes from doing everything perfectly. It comes from showing up consistently. I struggle in pronouncing this word. So if you want to improve English at home, remember this. Make English part of your life, not a subject. Listen every day, speak freely, read with interest, and make mistakes calmly. Don't panic. So you don't need to rush. You don't need to be perfect. Just like me, I'm recording videos in English, making English learning video, but I'm not perfect. So you don't need to feel a lot of pressure. You just need to keep going. So if you are making decision to learn English at home, you are right. Just do it at home because it's easy. Because I don't think you need to pay for your language learning. You can do it easily at home. So that's all for today's video. If you like this video, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe my channel and share with your friends. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care.